everyone.
I'm back, baby.
It's Jake Ciely.
I'm great. Everybody else sucks.
Oh,
no. It's every nightmare I've ever had.
Excuse me?
It's time to check the link.
Pretty crazy, huh? But it doesn't matter because none of this has anything to do with the show.
You know what? You just made the list.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
It's all in football.
Sure, we talk about it all the time. Really? No.
What's up, you ducks? It's week 5. Week 5 already, the fantasy football season. Talking waivers with stepmom Lauren, as always. Make sure you're checking out her on Twitter. And she says she doesn't tweet too much, but so check her out on her website, stepmom Lauren. Make sure you don't Google search that, as we've said multiple times. Just go right to the website. And speaking of websites, if you are not part of FTN and want some of the help over there with Jeff Ratcliffe, who I have tomorrow for the ranking show, 20% off with code ALLIN, ALLIN. And if you want a first free month at The Athletic, theathletic.com/BetsTV. All capitals. We've got that all out of the way. Please, subscribe, ring the bell, thumbs up, 5 stars, all that good stuff too. Especially, I want extra reviews on YouTube calling out Lauren for the fact that we've had a discussion 2 weeks ago and she was talking about, look at my wonderful 90s cartoon t-shirt. I was like, you know what? That's a good theme. I've got plenty of those, obviously. I wore my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as Pokemon. If anybody can't see, like, it's actually Teenage Mutant Ninja Squirtles.
That's weird.
No, it's not. It's awesome. And I was ready. Like, I had a shirt I was going to wear this morning. I haven't worn it yet. It was actually the the Fresh Prince of Saiyans, because it's Vegeta, but it's as the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air logo. But I was like, no, I have to wear my 90s cartoon shirt. And Lauren shows up not wearing a 90s cartoon shirt.
No, I didn't. I went rogue. I gotta keep you on your toes, Jake. I can't just be like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Predictable. That's it. You cannot be predictable. I'm going to keep you on your toes.
But you made a plan with your co-host and then just out the window.
I didn't know we made a plan.
This is what I think of your shirt.
Oh, yay. The poop. Where's the unicorn one?
Oh, right here. That's unicorn.
There we go. I like that one. I'll take it. Don't worry. I have some ideas coming up here. Okay. I just wanted to represent New Orleans. Because I love New Orleans. And the last time I was in New Orleans, I went to the Guns N' Roses concert and I got this t-shirt. So I'm normally in New Orleans this time of year, but I'm not this year, and it makes me sad.
Never been, but I also
what?
I don't care, because I more care about my Teenage Mutant Ninja Squirtle shirt that you don't want to see or be a part of. But
classic rock.
Week 5 waivers, whatever.
You.
I don't know. Whatever. It's cool. It's cool. I'll find somebody else to do a show with. No, I won't.
Oh,
all right,
sad
let's
day.
I said now I won't. Actually, hey, if everybody doesn't want to tune in, what is it, the 26th, 3 weeks from now? It's going to be double the dose of Chris Meany. So maybe he won't yell and interrupt me as much. And I don't think Lauren will today as much as Chris. Chris was hyped up yesterday. But let's talk about potentially being hyped up. We've got another waiver possibility where you're going to have to blow your first spot, go crazy and fab. I say that to say also, Lauren, this is, again, a reminder that, look, not all 32 teams have a high-end backup. Not all of 32 teams even have clarity if something were to happen, even if one of them is high-end. But there are a few out there, and I know you can't stash everybody. You can't stash Damien Williams, Darrell Williams, A.J. Dillon, Tony Jones. Like, you can't. And it really comes down to potentially who gets hurt first. Right? I said this in the waiver columns. Like, yes, I'd rather have A.J. Dillon over Wayne Gallman if both lead options got hurt. But if Mike Davis gets hurt first, Wayne Gallman's going to have more value than A.J. Dillon. All that being said, if any of those guys are out there and you have a spot, stash one of them. It might be the wrong one, but stash one of them. So if Damien Williams is out there, how crazy are you going for, Lauren? Because the timeline sounds anywhere from 3 minimum. Like minimum, more likely 4 to 5 weeks.
Yeah, this hurts my soul. I'm being aggressive with it because there is more longevity here than we're talking about. It's not just 1 or 2 weeks. This is a significant amount of time when you really need to stock up some wins. I mean, I'm in a pickle here in one of my leagues. I
start next week.
Yeah, I have Christian McCaffrey and David Montgomery as my 2 running backs. So I missed out on Chuba Hubbard, and Damien Williams is already rostered. It's one of those things where it's like, my league is really good. Apparently they do their research. But yeah, I'm being aggressive with it because Damien Williams actually did quite well, even while Montgomery was still on the field. So there was potential for him to be valuable anyway. And now it's just through the roof. So yeah, this is an aggressive one for if you're first on your waiver claims, he's going to be the first one off the board. Do it.
I saw somebody said that schedule though, and I was like, wait a sec. I remember the Bears schedule. I went and checked. Like, yes, at Buccaneers in 3 weeks. That's the concerning one. But Raiders, Packers, 49ers, Steelers, Ravens on the opposite sides of those. I'm not the 49ers mildly concerning, but the only one in that stretch that you can be concerned about is at Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And it's not just what we've seen from Damien Williams with Montgomery. Let's also remember Damien Williams with the Chiefs. So if you saw your league go after Elijah Mitchell and you saw your league, this is why we talk about it all the time. You know your fab best. You know your league best. That's why I could say go spend 35%. And he might be 70% in your league. You just never know. So if you saw Elijah Mitchell, would you plus 10%, plus 20% over what he went? To try and give some people some range of idea of what to think for whatever Mitchell and Hubbard for, how much higher would you go for Williams?
I think I would go about 15% higher, but I wouldn't sneeze at 20 to 25%, depending on your running back neediness. Like me, for example, which is why I brought that up. I am very running back needy, very much so right now.
Who isn't
so that
right
is
now?
going. I know that's going to be really processed into my fab decision here when I am doing that. But I think a safe one to start. I think your floor should be 15% above that, and then just gauge your team, gauge your league, gauge your needs, and then just keep adding from there because. It's so hard this time of year. Yeah, and even as we get closer and closer to the end of the season, it gets harder and harder. So not only are you going after Damien Williams as the backup who will be playing at least for the next, what we say, 3 to 5 weeks, but he's also valuable in his own right, whether or not, David Montgomery's on the field. So he's worth a lot more than just the spot start for a few weeks. So I say go aggressive on it.
Yeah, I actually agree. Matthew Bingham dropped in there. He said he can see that Montgomery's out through their bye, which is week 10, which is 5 games, bye week, 6th week, and then goes. So that actually makes a lot of sense. I know it's gross, but it makes a lot of sense. That's just it's most likely. So that being said, I've seen some people out there that said, I'm trying to think. I'll give you an example. Should I drop Elijah Mitchell to get Damien Williams? And I say yes. I don't want to let Elijah Mitchell go. I know Shanahanigans. I know that it's not a guarantee that Trey Sermon is the guy. However, let's say he's even not the guy. Let's just say Mitchell comes back and gets the lead. I don't think it's going to be a lead like Damien Williams, and he's going to get Shanahan. Like, the fact is like, even if you have a good game from Mitchell, who do you trust more? It's Damien Williams, easily.
Yep, agreed.
In deeper leagues, Khalil Herbert, just in case he splits. And again, now Khalil Herbert is the next man up. So let's remember about, there's some of these situations like Chuba Hubbard. I don't really think Royce Freeman's much, but if Chuba got hurt before Christian McCaffrey came back, he's that next man up situation. So those are some things to look for, is if you don't think you're going to get him, just throw a stash on Herbert just in case something were to happen. So let me ask you this situation. Latavius Murray, for the leagues that still have Latavius Murray sitting out there, surprisingly, which is, I get it. I'm not trying to be like, oh, you guys are stupid, because I get it, because that situation was a mess. Was being the operative word, Lauren? Question mark? Because Tyson Williams goes to a healthy scratch a week after barely touching the ball. Le'Veon Bell is active for the first time this year. Are we safe to say, I guess that's the best word to ask here, is it safe to trust Latavius Murray going forward?
I don't think it's safe to trust him, but I think you might have to. He can lumber and fall into the end zone, just like anyone else can for the Ravens. I don't trust anything about the Ravens, just like I don't trust anything about the San Francisco 49ers when it comes to their backfield. But what choice is there? There really isn't much. So yeah, I would play Latavius Murray. I wouldn't love it. I don't trust it, but I would. Especially in the position I am in a few leagues. Absolutely.
Well, and I'm not trying to call this person out, but I'm saying this to see if you agree with me or if you agree with that person. I said lock him in as an RB2. I would drop Mitchell for him. Again, I don't want to drop Mitchell. I make that clear. But some leagues are 10 teams. Some leagues have thinner benches. Sometimes you have to make these tough calls. So I'm trusting Latavius Murray as an RB2. And the pushback I got from said person was, well, he doesn't pass catch. I said, I don't care when it comes to the Ravens because the Ravens don't throw a lot to their running backs. J.K. Dobbins had that appeal, but we were still talking J.K. Dobbins as in like 40 receptions. And Mark Ingram didn't pass catch much. It's touchdown based, and I hate being touchdown reliant. But if there's one offense I'm going to be okay with trusting the touchdown reliance of a running back, it's the Ravens offense. Am I crazy?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't think you're crazy at all. I mean, look what they just did, and they just totally ticked off Vic Fangio when they played against the Broncos. And instead of taking a knee, they went ahead.
That was
and
the best comeback. You saw what Harbaugh said after that, right?
Yeah, he did. I liked that little interchange between these two head coaches. It was a mic drop. And Fangio used to be a coach under Harbaugh, so they know each other quite well. But either way, the reason I bring that up is because the Ravens their identity is a run first team. So when you're a running back on a run first team, yeah, I'm there. Unlike Elijah Mitchell, just like you were saying, is that Elijah Mitchell could be Shanahannigan at any moment. We don't really know. And Trey Sermon is healthy. We've got Jacques Patry, or however you say his name.
Oh, yeah.
All these different
that was
players.
Fun for a week.
I know, isn't it fun? It was fun to say the name. But I mean, you have all these different players that are rotating here, but at least there's going to be this solid person. Just keep an eye on whether or not he's going to turn out to be a healthy scratch. Who knows? But for me, the obvious answer here actually is Latavius Murray. Do I love it? No, but this is something that you just kind of have to do sometimes in fantasy football.
Okay. All right. So this next situation, Joe Mixon banged up, maybe? I don't know. All of a sudden it's like he might practice, but he might not. He might be out this week, but he might be okay. Like it's all over the map. That being said, if Joe Mixon is injury question mark towards the end of the week, I mean, obviously waivers run on Wednesdays for a lot of people, so you have to make the decision now. Are you going after Samaje Perine? Are you going after Chris Evans as well? Or are you just saying, I don't really know what the situation is going to be, and it sounds like Joe Mixon might play through an injury. Anyways, I'm not that worried.
I actually am going after Samaje Perine because Joe Mixon doesn't actually, he doesn't really have the greatest track record when it comes to longevity and sustainability. So I see him more being out as opposed to being in, more limited if he is in. And it's a high ankle sprain. Those linger. They don't heal overnight. So yeah, I don't have a problem picking up Samaje Perine if, Damien Williams is unavailable, because at least, you have an opportunity here at the running back position to at least see some goal line work, maybe see some in between the 20s. I mean, there could be volume there. Yes, it is dependent on Joe Mixon because otherwise Samaje Perine is completely phased out. But again, if he's hurt, I don't think he's going to make this miraculous comeback and then suddenly play the rest of the season injured the way that he is. And to me, this is more of a gut feeling here, but I am going after Samaje Perine.
See, and this is one of the backfields where, to go back to the Damien Williams situation, where there isn't a clear next man up, in my opinion. I would go Perine over Evans, but I've been mentioning this a lot in deeper leagues. I would say just stash Evans too, because if you told me Perine versus Evans and a pure talent base of all around, and that's really the key here, the all around running back, I'm taking Evans. And I'm not saying, again, I am clearly, if you told me pecking order, I'm taking Perine over Evans. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a 55-45 split if Mixon did miss time, and then if Evans shows out, that he doesn't necessarily push Perine into the backup role. Again, I'm taking Perine, but I'm just saying, if you're doing stashes, somebody already has Perine, or you just missed and you have a free spot, I'd just throw it out there on Evans too.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm actually targeting in this one league that I'm missing like every running back available, like possible. I'm going after Khalil Herbert because Damien Williams is already rostered, like I said. So my stash is Khalil Herbert, and then my backup, if you will, is going to be Samaje Perine. So I'm hoping that Christian McCaffrey can come back sooner rather than later.
If you want worse than that, Marcus Grant is one of the only 2 4-0 teams in all the flex leagues, the 5 flex leagues that we have. However, he has one running back because he lost Christian McCaffrey, David Montgomery, and then there's somebody else, and now he's down to Jamal Williams, the end. He doesn't even have a second running back.
I have Jamal Williams and Myles Gaskin and Kenyon Drake. That's what I'm working with.
We are going to talk about Myles Gaskin here in a second.
We have to.
This is the quick version here real quick, right? J.D. McKissick, like either you want him or you don't. You either want James White in your roster or you don't. That's who he is, right? Mm-hmm. Is it more complicated than that, or is it as simple as it needs to be?
I think that's as simple as it needs to be. I mean, honestly, I don't know why he's not on your roster. So if he's not, that means you just don't want him. So he should be. Right. I like
that's the simple version. All right. So now, because we talk worries too, we're going to loop two worries into these pickups at the same time. The first is, let's go to Seattle. Chris Carson. Now, Chris Carson, for everybody that doesn't know, I don't know if you know this, Lauren, because I looked it up. It was longer than I thought, and I say that's why you might not know. The last time he had 20 carries plus, week 15 of 2019.
Ooh, I was going to say 2018. Okay.
No, he did a few times in 2019. He actually hasn't had more than 17 carries in a game. So he's
Yikes.
3 off of even getting to 20. That's fine because Chris Carson is one of the most remarkably efficient running backs in the NFL, and he scores touchdowns being on the offense that he is. However, this past week was Alex Collins' time, and double part, however, even the first 3 games before this, he didn't even get more than 13 carries. So, how concerned are you about Chris Carson, and how aggressive are you being picking up Alex Collins?
I'm about a 3 duck on Chris Carson. I still think it's too early. Chris Carson also has some injury concerns as well from previous seasons. So it doesn't surprise me that maybe they're keeping him a little bit in check to make sure that he stays healthy for as long as possible. That would not surprise me. So I'm hovering right around a 3. I'm not being very aggressive going after Alex Collins. I don't know how fluky or trendy. It's fabulous. Oh my God. And his story about Irish dancing. Yes, please. Like, I love that kind of background.
Go get Alex Collins.
I love him. I think he's fabulous. But there are other people that I want to target a little bit heavier. Like we mentioned, Damien Williams is one of them. Samaje Perine is someone that I might look at over Alex Collins, because I'm just not sure when it's going to be the Alex Collins game or when it's going to be a Chris Carson game. So
no, here's easy. I'm not going to tell you who I have ranked in front of the other one, but would you go pick up Alex Collins or Darrell Williams?
Alex Collins.
Okay. Alex Collins or J.D. McKissick?
J.D. McKissick.
All right. To go into the next conversation, Alex Collins or Malcolm Brown. Before you answer, Lauren, now you get 3. You get not only 2 answers in this one, now you get 3 answers in this one, because it is Myles Gaskin got usurped by Malcolm Brown. Are you picking up Malcolm Brown? How worried are you about Myles Gaskin? And then, would you pick up Collins over Malcolm Brown? So this is a big one for you. It's a big bag to open up here.
Yeah. Yes, very, and no.
So go through it. Everybody's probably like, wait, which one was the which answer?
I know, me too. And I'm just going through that right now. Okay, so I'll start with my worry level on Myles Gaskin. It's a full 5. It is a full 5 duck. I'm done.
Wait, are you going to give him the infinity duck?
Yeah, I'm done.
He gets infinity duck. Yes. I didn't give him infinity duck. But
I'm so upset. I'm probably going to drop Myles Gaskin to pick up somebody, because I
guess technically he does get infinity duck for me, because I did put him in Dumpsville.
Okay, there you go.
So, all right. Yeah. So then the second
level. Super concerned about Gaskin. Would I take Malcolm Brown over Alex Collins? Tricky question.
The answer's no.
Well, I would think about it, though. I would think about this.
No, because here's why. Here's why you don't need to think about it. And we'll see if this is... No, I'm going to tell you why. I said this is why you don't need to think about it. So
continue, Squirtle.
Here's why. Because if Malcolm Brown has a good game, can you really trust him in week 6? You can't trust him in week 5. So in week 6, would you roll him out? Because it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from last year. Because then what if it's an Ahmed game? And then what if it's Myles Gaskin again? Because as soon as Myles Gaskin does better than Malcolm Brown, the reaction is going to be like, okay, they're going back to Gaskin. And it's just, now so this is a section I put in the waivers last year. I don't know if I'm going to bring it back, but it was Patriots games. So remember Patriots game, the movie? It was Patriots games instead. And with Bill Belichick, and it's like, these are the backfields I want nothing to do with. And like last year, at that time was San Francisco before Mostert had taken over. But all these types, like the Patriots themselves, the Rams last year. Like there was a lot of situations where it's like, I don't want anything to do with the backfield. And this is one of them. I don't care if we get an answer. I would need like 3 straight weeks. And at that point, I'm out, because I'm not rostering those guys anyway. And that's why I'm out on this backfield.
I didn't say I would trust him season long. I mean, I didn't say I would pick him up and just be like, yay, auto start.
But you're picking up Malcolm Brown just in case 3 weeks from now you can use him? Is that what you're doing? That wasn't supposed to be smarmy, just to be clear.
You're such a smarmy git. No, I'm picking up Malcolm Brown because, just like you said, if he does have a big game, you're right, I can't trust him. I'm going to trade him. I think he has more trade value than Alex Collins. So I just think because of the name, because of his history, and especially because Salvon Ahmed almost non-existent, Myles Gaskin just bye. You're not even involved. Nobody likes you apparently. Did he make someone really bad on the coaching staff? I don't even know. But I think Malcolm Brown might have a little bit more trade value than Alex Collins will. So I can use him as a spot start. If he does really well, then I can trade him away for someone who could be a little bit more, consistent, like an Elijah Mitchell or something like that.
Here's one for you. Are you dropping Kenyon Drake for Malcolm Brown? Kenyon Drake did not even get run in when they were down in that game for most of that game.
I know. I should probably, but I won't because I have this sad infatuation with Kenyon Drake. I can't quit him. So I probably won't drop it, but I should.
How about dropped order? These three running backs, like what order would you like? So this is like who would be the first to be dropped and who would be the last that you would want to let go of? Myles Gaskin, Tyson Williams, and Kenyon Drake.
In that order.
So you would want to hold Gaskin the most, and no, you want to let Gaskin go to the most. So let Gaskin go
the most. So bye.
So you would hold Williams before you held Gaskin, is what?
Tyson Williams.
Yeah.
Tyson Williams.
Tyson. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't really, because he has done well. He's done really well. So I don't know what that.
Somebody said that to me. It's like, yeah, he's got the most burst. I don't disagree, but when you can't pass block, sometimes coaches could not care less.
Yeah. I mean, it's tricky. It's tough. I have no faith in Myles Gaskin at all. Now watch, he's going to blow up over the next 3 weeks. That's just my fantasy karma, but I don't know. I just don't have any faith in Myles Gaskin. I think I tried. I didn't have any faith going into the season, but I tried and I was not rewarded for my efforts.
Certainly fair.
Sad day.
Let's see, before we get to the wide receivers, if there's any questions. Any bump from McKissick with Logan Thomas out? No, it's Curtis Samuel. All Curtis Samuel. How is Curtis Samuel still not 60% rostered? That's baffling to me. First game back, he was involved. Not a lot. Hopefully he didn't start him, but that's confidence right there. Ooh, How about this one? Alex Collins or Eli Mitchell for you, Lauren?
Oh, I'll take Eli Mitchell. Ooh, that's close. Close.
Thoughts on Le'Veon? Yes, none.
None.
No interest.
Fantasy
there.
annoying. He will be fantasy annoying, not fantasy relevant.
More a thorn than anything in real life. Jimmy G update.
Every
We're not
rose
doctors.
has its thorn, baby. That's why I wore this shirt. I knew you were
because you knew
that.
I was going to say that. You knew that's where I was going to go.
I have ESPN.
Last one. Wait. Okay. I was trying. This is where I'm going. Like, I forgot about Samaje Perine already because my first thought went to LaMichael Perine. I don't know why, but Collins or Perine.
Perine. That's
Collins.
hard. That's so hard. Yeah, I mean, I can make an argument for both. I think just personally, I'll go Samaje Perine.
Okay, so let's talk about wide receivers. This situation, it's interesting. This is how fantasy works. I didn't want to, and I kept saying I don't want to. I said, but if you have to, Laviska Shenault can be cut. Last week.
Oh, God, I said the same thing.
No, but we were right. And the reason was he was third. He wasn't on the field outside of 3 wide. He wasn't getting snaps. He wasn't getting targets. That offense has been struggling. Mm-hmm. But now DJ Chark's out for the season. He leapfrogs everybody. Yeah, he leapfrogged the Renfro, the Ruggs, Darnell Mooney's. We're going to talk about all these guys, but he leapfrogs everybody because he's now 2 wide receivers set with Marvin Jones. So more aggressive, Damien Williams or Laviska Shenault, understanding you don't need one more than the other. Like you're equitable at running back and wide receiver. Would you go Williams or would you go Shenault?
I would go Williams because it's running back. Because I mean, not just because I'm running back needy, only because the viable fantasy relevant waiver wire for running backs is very, very shallow. So when I can get someone like Damien Williams, especially now that he's going to be the starter, I would still lean running back here. If I'm in a vacuum where I'm not needy at one position or the other, I would still lean running back on this one. It'd be tough, but I would still go Williams.
Okay. Laviska Shenault moving forward over. So some of those are names. I want to see if you do agree. So for everybody that doesn't know, and again, go to The Athletic. You can put in theathletic.com/BetsTV. All capitals, first free month. These are guys. So I tried to tell you section for everybody. Mm-hmm. Lauren knows I've explained it to her already, but just in case everybody out there, these are guys that I've said enough about for 2 or 3 weeks in the waivers. And if you haven't picked them up, you haven't picked them up. I don't know what more to tell you, and that's why I tried to tell you. So these are the guys, and I want to know Shenault versus. So if you're taking Shenault over, I guess the better way to put it, I'll give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names. You tell me if any of them are over Shenault, because I think that might be the better way to, because Shenault's, I said in the section, Shenault's top.
I love
Darnell Mooney, Curtis Samuel, Emmanuel Sanders, Tim Patrick, Ruggs, and Renfro. Are any of those above Shenault for you?
There was one. No, I mean, for consistency and volume, it's Shenault. It really is. Tim Patrick is someone I could definitely make a case for because it's just him now with Courtland Sutton and Noah Fant. So I can make an argument for Tim Patrick. That one is right on the line for me.
Judy's coming back.
Yeah, eventually. I mean, like week 8 or something. Isn't that what we're looking at here? Yeah, I get it.
We're already 3 weeks away from that. That's
true. So like rest of season, I get it. But I mean, even with Jerry Jeudy coming back, I don't know if that really hurts Tim Patrick because I think that just spreads the defenses out a little bit more thin for Tim Patrick to do well and for Courtland Sutton to do well. So that one's really tough for me. But I think if you need a big playability, I can make the case for Mooney and Ruggs, but they're not volume based, like heavy volume based, which I think Shenault will be. So for me, a majority of that list is under Shenault.
The funny thing is, too, as I said this about Mooney, is I would feel better if they moved to Fields permanently, but how many times has Nagy said Dalton's the quarterback if he's healthy? Which this is why I'm still hesitant. Okay, all right, we're going to do a real quick worry report here. This is not where I'm kind of sidebarring here. Worry report for you on Allen Robinson. I'm still buying low because Dalton is better for him. I want Fields, but the thing is, Fields' arm and aggressiveness, as we just saw, is advantage Mooney. I don't think now I want to say like Mooney's better than Allen Robinson, but I think Dalton's better for Robinson and is going to hurt Mooney if he's back at quarterback. All that being said, Lauren, this is something I tweeted over the weekend, and I said, look, the Woods and Allen Robinson situation are pretty similar. The problem here is you can be disappointed, but they can also have fantasy value. It's not mutually exclusive. It's not mutually exclusive to say, I invested a top 15 wide receiver pick on these guys. I hate them, but they still have fantasy value, right?
Yeah, for me, Woods and Allen Robinson are those guys that I do not feel comfortable starting, especially if I am behind in any of my leagues. So they are going firmly on the bench, and when they inevitably have a giant game, that is when I say, hey, I have an extra wide receiver. I don't know if I'm going to play. I need so-and-so. They're up on the trade block.
How many ducks do you give each one of them?
Oh, let's see. 3. I think a good 3.
For both?
Yeah, 3. And I got, I'll have 3 and an egg for Woods because.
And an egg?
Yeah, because when Cooper Kupp did not, pull through, Stafford was looking for Deshaun Jackson and Van Jefferson and not Robert Woods as much
that's why
as
I got
wanted.
3 to Woods. I have 3 to Woods and 2 to Robinson.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that. 3, yeah, I'm okay. No, okay, I'm sticking with it. 3 to duck for Woods, and I'm sticking with 3 with Allen Robinson, simply because there are way too many question marks at the quarterback position here, and I'm starting to get a little bit more nervous for what we drafted Allen Robinson for, which was for the volume, for that, okay, big games, but really safe floor. We do not have that from him this year, and I worry about that a little bit more as each week progresses.
Would you take, this is actually a question from Cody, would you take Shenault or
Cody.
Pittman?
Oh, Shenault.
Okay. And I think that's kind of where we're at here. I actually had some say Shenault versus Pascal, and it's like, wait, because of ODU? Like, Pascal, I would love to, but no, Pascal's not even in the realm of Shenault at this point. Like, so
no.
let's talk about the Packers. For rankings wise, we should have all listened to Aaron Rodgers when he said, I want Randall Cobb to be more involved. That being said, Lauren, he was out there about half the time Allen Lazard was. And it really comes down to is Randall Cobb 3 wide sets, as Randall Cobb has been for a lot of his career. But this is tough because Lazard was out there significantly more. Cobb had the eye of Aaron Rodgers when out there. So if you have to pick up one, are you picking up Cobb over Lazard, or are you just saying, I'll let somebody else spend all their fab or the waiver priority? I'm going to avoid this situation because week to week it might be Lazard, might be Cobb, might be Lazard, might be Cobb.
I have no problem targeting Randall Cobb. And the reason why is I'm looking at this from an emotional relationship base. So I may be taking the chick view of it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because this is Aaron Rodgers' last hurrah in Green Bay. He's made that very clear. And he really likes Randall Cobb. They are good friends. They've played together. This is not like just some kind of fly by the seat of the pants type of thing. And if Aaron Rodgers trusts him, he is going to be the one that is going to get those looks, regardless of the fact that he is only on the field half the time than Allen Lazard. Does that mean that Allen Lazard is going to never have a good game again? No, I think he will have some good games, but I would rather have Randall Cobb because I know that there is a trust and a chemistry and a rapport that goes back years and years and years between those two players. That is my tiebreaker between the two.
Okay. I was seeing if there's any questions in here real quick before I get to the next waiver. So, yeah. Brett, trading Damien Williams for Devontae Smith. No, you need to aim higher. Yeah, I know it's the Montgomery owner, and I love some Devontae Smith. He's actually top 5 still in unrealized air yards after last week. Still. But Damien Williams is a locked-in RB2. You need to get a lot more than Devontae Smith for him, especially with how running back needy everybody is.
Yep.
Let's see. Mr. Nice Guy, I appreciate it. It's not check the rankings, it's check the link. Hashtag check the link. I can pull out the t-shirt behind me, but I'm in the middle of petting Barkley.
He tried.
I said I appreciate it. I'm just correcting him at the same time. Trading Najee Harris for CEH and Stafford? No way on earth. And you have Russell Wilson. You don't need back for everybody out there. And, I'm not coming for Cam, and just in general. If you have a top 6 or 7 quarterback, you don't need a backup quarterback because you're never starting said backup quarterback, let alone Stafford and Wilson are both top 7 or 8, and you're just going to give yourself a headache from week to week on that one. You know what? One more, and this is a worry one. He's not in the list, and that's why I'm answering it. I didn't have him in there, but a lot of people are. Lauren, how worried are you about DeAndre Hopkins?
No. I don't even think he has ducks.
Not even one?
No, not even one. So they played against the Rams, and Jalen Ramsey knows how to shut down DeAndre Hopkins. So that made a lot of sense to me. He was also banged up the week before that as well. So we're talking about 2 weeks. I get it. DeAndre Hopkins is an elite wide receiver. Doesn't have
20% of the team targets this year. Not even 20%.
Yet. I understand, but I think that there are other things that go into that besides the fact that it's just, too many like it's Randall Cobb, Rondale Moore. Too many Randys are hanging around. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not that worried about DeAndre Hopkins. I'll give him a 1 for S's and giggles, but I'm not worried.
Okay. Fair enough. Not worried. All right, so let's go to the New York Jets. Jamison Crowder is back. He's doing Jamison Crowder things. It's funny. This is why I said I had no interest in Elijah Moore in redraft, because Jamison Crowder. I thought Jamison Crowder was going to play before this point, but what did Jamison Crowder do? He proved that when he's healthy, which is a big if, but when he's healthy, he is remarkably productive as Jamison Crowder. Are you picking Jamison Crowder up? And are you stashing Elijah Moore now that he's potentially coming back because of Crowder's injury history? I just say that because if Crowder goes down, Elijah Moore would take his role.
No, thank you on Moore. Yes, I'm going after Jamison Crowder. He's a PPR monster. This is what he does. First game back, 2021, monster game. Even with Corey Davis, I love it. I'm not worried. I'm not stashing Elijah Moore. I am going after Jamison Crowder.
Okay.
Crowder.
Barkley gets a little treat to keep her busy.
Hi, Barkley.
How about Devontae Parker now that Will Fuller is hurt? Devontae Parker had a good game. Devontae Parker's concern with Will Fuller back was that he kind of fell third behind Jalen Waddle getting all the volume. Devontae Parker and Will Fuller were kind of offsetting the touchdown upside here. Are you backing into Devontae Parker for the fact that Will Fuller is, speaking of not staying on the field?
Yeah, I like Devontae Parker. So that's another name that I am targeting as well. If you're wide receiver needy, if you need someone to spot start, they play the Bucks, right?
This week?
The Dolphins, yeah. Did I just make that up?
Yes. No, you're right.
Okay. Yes. So I think they've allowed
I actually think the Buccaneers, who has more healthy secondary guys, the Buccaneers or the Raiders at this point?
Oh my Lord. The Raiders?
I don't know. The Raiders lost like 5 secondary players last night.
Oh God, it was bad. It was really bad. Yeah, so they play the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers, like we were just talking about, they are incredibly porous in their secondary. And Jacoby Brissett is starting to get his starting quarterback legs underneath him, as opposed to being like that terrified backup quarterback coming into the game. So he's playing with a little bit more confidence. So that's why I like Devontae Parker quite a bit as well. Plus, he's a playmaker. He knows how to get it done. I like Devontae Parker, and that matchup against Tampa Bay is great. I think they've allowed the fourth most points to wide receivers. So it's a great matchup for him as well.
And hey, speaking of what you just said, it's not just looking at that, but on Wednesdays over at The Athletic, you can check out APA, which is adjusted points allowed, which factors in for the real quick, easy version of the explanation is you can just look at points per game. But of course, if you face Tom Brady every single week versus facing Jared Goff every single week, you're going to give up more quarterback points. So this takes into account strength of schedule, like strength of opponent to give you the real strength. Yeah. So to kind of bake all that in. How about, let's go back to the Cardinals. At this point, resuscitating his career, got the little Larry Fitzgerald life going on over there. Is AJ Green back to being a thing now?
I mean, I can't even believe it. I cannot believe it. We're talking about Jamison Crowder, Devontae Parker, and AJ Green. And we talked about Deshaun Jackson last week. It is crazy, but I think it's time that we start taking AJ Green seriously. And for everyone who has, I'm sorry, I have not. But it's a trend now here. He scored double-digit fantasy points in the last 3 weeks in PPR formats. He's had 2 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks, and Kyler Murray is looking at him. And he's seen 6 targets every single game so far in 2021. So I'm buying into it. He's probably the last piece on the waiver wire besides Max Williams, who also scored a touchdown. That is on your waiver wire, and that you can, snag on that Cardinals offense.
But you know who scored too?
Whatever.
CJ Uzma.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you texted me, and I'm still waiting for somebody. The problem was that was a Thursday game. So being a Thursday game, it's too far away that the people have forgotten that the secret of the Uzma, as Pat Mayo would say.
I texted Jake and I was like, how many questions are we going to get about CJ Uzma on our waiver show?
Oh, see, look. Secret of the Uzma. Secret of the Ooze. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Squirtles. There you go. See,
interested. The Squirtle. You wear these shirts that are like fusioned of things, like Scooby-Doo, Supernatural, and then
that's the whole point.
I'm basic. I can't do that much.
You see, you need like a Guns and what could cross over with Guns and like Transformers. You need Transformers and Roses.
I don't know,
like the Megatron with a gun for Guns and Roses. You see what I'm saying? Like, or G.I. Joe.
Epic.
G.I. Joe and
that'd be, or like you have to do something even weirder, like Guns and.
I'm trying to get a shirt made for Mooney Tunes. I'm trying to get a Mooney Tune.
Yes.
Pat Mayo and I came up with that one on his show. More credit to Pat. That was probably like a 70-30 split on Pat's side of things. But the problem is that I have to make that one myself because RotoWare. By the way, go check out RotoWare, everybody out there. RotoWare has licensing with MLB, but NFL is like, he used that Spider-Man, the pointing one. And it was like Daniel Jones and somebody else. And it wasn't just like, it was generic, like 8-bit version jersey. Didn't even say Jones's name, and the NFL sent him a cease and desist. Like the NFL is like super aggressive, unfortunately.
Wow.
Yeah. So they might even come with me. Like I wear a Mooney Tunes shirt and they're going to come for me probably on top of it too. But hey, I'm not selling them. How about this? I sold people on being hesitant about picking up the Giants wide receivers. And I'll admit I was wrong because I was hesitant. And I was wrong. I was hesitant because I said Colin Johnson steps into the Slayton role and Tony is the Shepard role. That part, 100% correct. There's no question about it. Where I was hesitant is because in 2 wide, I assumed we would see more Colin Johnson because Tony doesn't play outside. That all was still correct. The problem was I wasn't expecting the Giants to see Colin Johnson play well and then say, you know what, buddy? You get kicked to 5th, not 4th, not 3rd. 5th. You're behind CJ Board and they're returning John Ross. And then
again, John Ross? what year is it?
I don't know. What was the year that he ran the 4.22?
I think it was like 2016 or something. It seems like forever
earlier
ago.
than that.
All
that being said, Kadarius Toney looked good. No question about it. We knew he's a first-round pick. We knew Kadarius Toney had talent. That's not the concern here. Are you picking up Toney because here's the issue? We don't know still how long Sterling Shepard is out. And there's no question there that when Shepard comes back, it's going to hurt Toney. So how aggressive are you being going after Toney?
I'm not aggressive at all. I think that is going to be a speculative ad for me. I get it. But I think there are other wide receivers out there that may... Laviska Shenault. I mean, I'd rather have Shenault than Kadarius Toney.
Oh, by miles. So, Parker. Yeah. AJ Green.
Parker, absolutely. AJ Green, absolutely. So no, I'm not being aggressive with it. Crowder, yes, definitely. Picking
New England Crowder.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Clam Clowder. That's actually kind of tough to say. Clam Crowder.
Clam Crowder.
See, you messed it up. You said 2 L's. See, it's hard to say Clam Crowder.
I mess up words all the time. Like I frequently say Kyler Murray. I have a problem with it.
It's those so L's and R's that are in there.
It is. I can't.
Everybody at home, practice saying Clam Crowder 5 times. I don't think anybody can say it 5 times in a row.
No, I couldn't even say it once.
Last one before we get some more questions and then talk about some worries. Josh Reynolds. Are you going after him? Because the Titans say Julio Jones and A.J. Brown likely out till week 6, so they're out again this week, if not longer. Josh Reynolds, they were all very close, but I had as the highest to say, like, of Westbrook, Akina, by the way, that's how you say his last name, Akina. And
I said Akine before, it's Kina.
And Chester Rogers. Chester Rogers was still only out there in wide receiver 3 sets. And this is why. This is, again, reading tea leaves. 9 out of 10 times I'm correct. And then, again, the Colin Johnson one, I admit I was completely wrong. Read those reports and leaves incorrectly. But the Titans went after Josh Reynolds very early in free agency. And that was before the Julio Jones trade. So, for me, if Josh Reynolds was healthy, that's why. But how much confidence are you putting in Josh Reynolds until they both come back?
Well, I could put a decent amount. It's really difficult for me to throw that in there because I feel like at any moment it could be a Nick Westbrook, Akina game, or it could be an annoying Chester Rogers sniper touchdown. Because Ryan Tannehill here, this offense now, this identity more so than ever is going to be around Derrick Henry. So without AJ Brown,
Jared McNichols.
Oh, I know, how annoying! Why people? Ugh. But
I'm still real quick to sidebar on him. Are you going after McNichols? Because I'm not, because he's not McKissick, because he's not getting carries. He has 1-2-2-1 or something like somewhere in there. He has no more than 2 carries. All of his value is in the passing game. Like at least McKissick and James White and those kind of guys get like 4, 5, 6 carries. He's got nothing.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not going after McNichols.
Okay.
McDimes. McQuarters.
We don't normally get too involved with quarterbacks because we spend the Wednesday show with Jeff talking about streaming options at quarterback. But the Jimmy Garoppolo situation, kind of alluded to it earlier. Jimmy Garoppolo, not as bad as he thought it was, which is just weird because normally it's the players. The players are the positive ones. It's not usually the team that comes back and is like, no, your calf is better than you think it is. So
they're like, oh, it might be a bruise. Like, he came out of the game because he has a boo-boo? Like, oh, come on, please. What is going on
here? Bone
bruise,
but I don't know how you get a bone bruise if you're going through the calf. That'd be a hell of a bone bruise to get all the way through your calf.
Then it would have to go to the fibula, and that would be, if it's that bad that it would, damage the fibula to the point of a bone bruise. You're looking at something a little bit more serious to me. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. No idea.
So anyway, Trey Lance, are you going after him if you've been streaming quarterbacks? Because it's funny. Somebody in the waiver column was like, why are you so positive on Trey Lance? Did you not see his throws? And I said, yeah, but the good thing is in fantasy, we don't count how ugly a pass is. But we do count is rushing upside. And in 2 quarters, he finished as a top 15 quarterback. So if I'm streaming, I'm going after Lance until Garoppolo is back.
I see what you're saying. And this is assuming a 1 quarterback league, correct?
Yes, of course.
I'm not. I am staying away from it unless it's like really desperate because you're in a league that has I might play Trey Lance over Ryan Tannehill. Yeah, that one's tough, especially without
quarterbacks.
Those. Yeah, I get it.
Kirk Cousins, Trey Lance.
There are other options. I would rather play Taylor Heineke.
I was going to save that one. You ruined it. Oh,
I know. I'm just ruining everything today.
No, not like Nene yesterday. You missed the one. Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Trey Lance. See, I'm going Trey Lance over all of them except for
who. Exactly. This is purely matchup dependent for me. I think did we talk about it last week where I really had reservations about what the Vikings were going to be able to do against the Browns because of Kevin Stefanski coming in, and then what do you know? Kirk Cousins looked like garbage. So to me, this is strictly matchup dependent. Whichever one has the juicier one, I'll go ahead and target that one. I don't really have a ranking for them until I find out who they're playing.
Yeah.
At any given Sunday.
Again, Tyler Heineke is the answer to all of this. Tyler Heineke continues to ball out, and we talked about it yesterday with me. Yes, you should. Who do you represent? Sleeping on his sister's couch while he's in the XFL to make his dream come true. All right, worry report before we get out of here. What's your worry level on Lamar Jackson? And I only because I gave him 1.5. He actually has an egg, mostly because of this. Last year, he actually had multiple games with passing 2+ passing touchdowns.
Kyler early.
I know. He had 9 last year. Through the first 4 games, he's got 1-1-1-1. He's not throwing multiple touchdowns. And here's the second part. This is why I gave him 1.5. That back issue is kind of limiting his rushing the upside the past 2 weeks. So I'm slightly concerned about Lamar Jackson.
I was going to say a 1. I can see the 1 in the egg. I am listening and hearing your argument here, Mr. Ciely.
As I trip through it.
No, I got you. Whatever. It's not like I've never messed anything up. But yeah, I think those numbers could have been a little bit better had certain wide receivers not dropped passes.
Sure,
there's
that
one. I mean, there's some context to it. I think it's worrying enough to keep your eye on it. Let's do that. But I'm not freaked out quite yet.
Okay, so let's talk Alvin Kamara. Casey Joyner on The Athletic last week, before last week's games, mentioned the fact that Kamara's workload could potentially have him wear down given his body type. The fact that he's on pace for close to 60 more touches than he's ever had in his career. Here's the second part of it, Lauren. Those touches don't involve the receiving game.
Yeah. Ugly.
He is RB12 on the season. He has essentially turned into Derrick Henry. He is on pace for about 42, 43 receptions. What's your worry level on Alvin Kamara?
I'm a solid 3 on Kamara, and the reason why I could even do an egg on this one is because of Tony Jones. What is his health after he was carted off the field?
He came back into the game.
He did come back into the game. He was carted off. Or
I know.
Off or whatever.
He did the Paul Pierce. He wasn't like the Paul Pierce. Remember that in the playoffs? And like, I gotta go to the locker. And then he comes out. No.
Yeah, and like Amari Cooper, that's like, ow, and then he came back in and caught this.
Yeah, Cooper came back too.
Yeah, like just sandbagging everybody. I don't even know what's happening right now. I'm a little worried about Kamara. Sadly, it's because of this evolution that we're going to have to see with Jameis Winston in the offense and just kind of like settling down a little bit and figuring out their identity. So I don't give Alvin Kamara himself because of who he is as a player that 3 possibly egg. I give the situation that whole thing. If they can settle things down, he can just go. He can but he's not getting involved. It's kind of like when we saw Austin Eckler last year not getting involved in the passing game. And It was just like, what are you doing? Because that is what Alvin Kamara is so good at, is being a receiver as well as a running back. And we're just really not seeing that quite yet. And we saw that when Taysom Hill came in last year, when he had those 4 weeks, Alvin Kamara wasn't really involved in the passing game very much, but it's Jameis Winston now who's doing this. So where is the disconnect?
Because he can throw to the running back.
He certainly can. So where's the disconnect? What is happening right now? Is it because you're missing Lombardi? I don't know. What is going on here with the Saints?
You would think Sean Payton would know, and especially because they're not winning games either on top of it, which is kind of like, hey. So
I feel like they're not changing anything. I feel like we're just seeing the same thing every single game, and it's broken. Fix it.
Like, I think the biggest problem is they just don't have. They need Michael Thomas back for one.
They do.
I mean,
they do.
It's just another dimension in this offense, and maybe that helps
Can
Kamara
they get Drew
a little
Brees
bit.
back?
No, he's. Why would you ever want to? If you're making that kind of money just being an analyst, I know the love of the game, but why would you ever want to come back? And he's got like the nice hair. Everybody needs to stop crapping on him for taking care of his hair. If you had millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars and you were balding, you'd probably take care of your hair too. Like
absolutely.
Can we leave Drew Brees alone? Like the first week, it did look a little ruggish, but it's looked good since.
Yeah, give the man a break, for crying out loud.
Thank you. But all that being said, I actually even said I would trade Kamara probably for because of what just happened with Kareem Hunt. Like I would look to go get Nick Chubb and then like a second piece upgrade, like a 2-for-2, like maybe boost your wide receiver from Woods to, I don't know, Allen Robinson or something like that. Like it's a small increase. But you see what I'm saying? Like a 2-for-2 where you get a little bit of an upgrade because the name Kamara and because you have people out there like, well, he's getting 20 carries. Imagine if he gets back into the passing game. Mm-hmm. So some worries before we get out of here. Wide receiver. How worried are you for CeeDee Lamb?
Oh, 2. I'm 2.
2.
2.
Were you hesitating to go higher or lower?
Higher. I was hesitating to do a 3, but I'm going to stick with the 2.
Okay. Because
I didn't know you wanted me to elaborate. I thought we were like rapid fire, so we could get out of here. So I was like waiting for the next one. I was like on pins and needles here because I think he's going to be okay. I think it's just been whatever the defenses have allowed Dak Prescott to take advantage of, have allowed him to do so with like Dalton Schultz and then Amari Cooper coming back in and out and doing his whole thing. Only a matter of time before he starts exploding again. So I think everyone should just take a deep breath when it comes to CeeDee Lamb, and I only give him 2.
All right. Odell Beckham.
Did we really bring him on and start him to be anything other than what he's already been? Because this wasn't his fault in the Browns. That was a Baker Mayfield crap game.
100%.
I mean, he could have had a huge touchdown if Baker Mayfield hadn't thrown it like 3 feet
Odell
behind
Beckham
him.
is 7th in unrealized air yards.
Yeah,
7th.
yeah. I think that normalizes, and I think that might come back to the mean. So I won because I didn't get him to be like, oh, you're going to be my wide receiver 1 rest of season. He's kind of that boomer bust guy, so I'm not really that concerned. And it's Baker Mayfield too. It's not OBJ's fault.
All right.
One in a duck or one in an egg. How about that?
How about this one, which I'm going to judge you really harshly depending on what your answer is.
Okay. Shocking. All right.
Cortland Sutton.
Oh my God, 1. Stop it.
Thank you. Okay, no. Yeah, this is why you rule. Thank you.
Stop it. Thank you.
You know who's number 1 in unrealized air yards?
Cortland Sutton.
100%. Yes. There you go. Number 2, Stephon Diggs, by the way, for everybody worried about Stephon Diggs.
I'm actually surprised that Diggs isn't 1. But you kind of led me in there to figure out that Cortland Sutton was 1 on there. Thank you.
There you go.
But yeah,
How
that's
about 2 more worries before we get out of here.
Okay.
Juju Smith-Schuster, who you apparently thought JJSS was a ship out to sea or something like that.
SOS on JJSS Pennsylvania. 5. Full-fledged.
5. I give him 3.5.
I'm way more over it. Way more over it. Can't handle it. Mm-mm.
Okay. The thing is well, this is maybe why. This is why I gave him 3.5, is because look at last year, and it was 800 some odd yards and all the touchdowns. Like, Juju Smith-Schuster hasn't really changed that much. It's kind of outside of that one amazing season. Juju Smith-Schuster is more of this, and now with Ben Roethlisberger, I'd say that if you include Ben Roethlisberger, it's infinity duck. Like that's the way. Like it's not all Juju's fault. Okay,
that's what I'm doing here. Is I'm including that whole situation as the 5 ducks. And I don't see it getting better because you have Deontay Johnson, who is back. Chase Claypool is still there. Pat Freiermuth, your boo, is starting to play really, really well. Eric Ebron is still there. And this whole thing to me is Eric Freiermuth. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to start Juju Smith-Schuster with confidence. So he's a full done.
Alex has Sutton, Diggs, Cooks, and Ridley. I would love those 4 wide receivers. It hasn't been the start that you want, but I would love to have those. All right,
be patient. Be patient.
So TJ Hawkinson, how many ducks does Hawkinson get? Because I'll set you up for this one. Normally, I give him 2, so not a huge concern.
I was actually going to say 2. So
okay, this is the same concern I had in the preseason. Is that if you're stopping the Lions, you are stopping Hawkinson because they have no wide receivers. Because every single week, Lauren says, "I want nothing to do with the Lions wide receivers."
Exactly. And so what have we seen? We've seen whenever TJ Hawkinson gets shut down, it's like this Quintez Cephas game. So it's not like he is their wide receiver 1. It's just by default, he's the other person. But yeah, I'm not really worried about TJ Hawkinson. You're going to have to game plan when it comes to Hawk playing against any team that is above like 15 when it comes to deep defending against tight ends, because he will get shut down, but he will be amazing in those really good matchups. Just plan to have some home run guys like in your flex or possibly your wide receiver 3. If you do roster 3 wide receivers that can give you that home run hit, you have to kind of plan around TJ Hawkinson, but I'm not worried. We knew this was going to happen. So 2.
All right, I'm with you as well. And sorry, Tino. Tino's got to get out of here. I just realized it's 11:53. Tino's got to go produce Mean Streets. Make sure you guys are checking that out. Make sure you're checking out Stepmom Lauren at Stepmom Lauren and StepmomLauren.com. That's a lot of stepmoms in there. If you say, hey, I see a lot. I didn't get a lot of these questions. By the way, I don't see the questions in the comments if you're commenting on the show live. So if you want to drop them in the comments after the fact, I'll try and get to them later today or this evening. So go back and check them there. And theathletic.com/BetsTV, all capitals, if you want to drop your comments in over there. In the articles there. So we'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. for rankings. Good luck in week 5 from everybody. Lauren will be back next Tuesday.